This election, they're talking about making changes that scare me because Social Security is there for all of us Americans.
And health care reform is an absolute must for senior citizens.
If we need specialty care, we don't have it. They can go to Europe and get it. We can't even go around the corner.
We paid into the system with a promise that the money would be there.
People are going to work all their lives and not have a pension, and then they're not going to have Social Security. What's going to happen?
We have an awful lot to lose this time, and what is going to happen is if we don't win, the middle class itself is going to be devastated.
The rich guys have had their chance. This whole idea that if they get richer, it's going to trickle down on us somehow. Well, only one thing trickles down, and it's not jobs and it's not money.
I'm 81 years old, and I stay active because I'm trying to protect my grandkids, and I'm trying to protect their kids.
I can't believe what's happened in Wall Street. These guys, it's all about getting the money. If they can get a hold of the money and manage it, then somehow they can get all these little pieces out of it. And I think that seems to be okay with them. It's not even a moral issue.
Social Security, Medicare, all those programs, even minimum wage, all those things that have built the middle class are in jeopardy.
You only have to look at what the House of Representatives is currently doing. The budget plan that they are proposing would eventually wipe Medicare completely out. It would decimate the little bit of social services that we have left.
You've got a sitting president that needs a second term to try to do all of the things that he promised to do. But you got to give him folks that he can work with.
The people that are going to be running against President Obama, they're beholden to the corporations, the insurance companies, the pharmaceuticals.
I really believe it is a make or break time. There's so much that Obama wants to do. I really feel he wants to do it, and he needs a good Congress. And we need to win and win big.
If we vote for the likes of Mitt Romney in this next election, your grandchildren probably won't have Social Security, and they probably won't have health care, and Lord knows they're not going to have jobs.
Oh, Mitt Romney has no idea how average people live. He's never even considered having to cut pills in half because he can't afford the whole prescription.
We have to ensure that our politicians in Washington are aware of what we as workers are talking about and what our needs are and what our wishes are. And I don't think they're in touch with what we're talking about. I really don't.
Just before I turned 4 years old, my father died, leaving my mother to raise 8 children alone from the ages 2 to 12. Less than 2 years later, she found out financially it was too hard of a struggle. So the 4 youngest were put in an orphanage and the 4 oldest went into foster homes. But thanks to Social Security, we were able to get Social Security survivor benefits. We were able to reunite a little over 3 years later with our mother and all the siblings.
It's almost hard to believe that people are talking about taking away Social Security because it is something that we all have worked together to get, and we all have paid in together.
I've worked all my life. I've worked 40 years for one company, and I was paying into Social Security almost for 40 years. To me, that's not an entitlement. I've already invested a lot of the money that I was supposedly earning that went into the Social Security program. I expect that to be there for me.
This is money out of my paycheck. I sacrificed when they took this money out.
The money has been invested conservatively so that it would be there.
It's a promise they're making to us that this money will be here.
You know, even though I'm a proud machinist, a lot of people I know are hard workers. Some have never been in unions, some have been in unions, but the one thing they all did is paid into Social Security, and they were glad to because they knew that their parents were drawing from it, and they knew it was going to be there for them.
any program with a surplus of $2.7 trillion, I don't know how that contributes to a deficit.
The money from Social Security isn't even part of the government. Basically, it's money that you and I have put in, and they've borrowed the money, which is why they owe money.
It's the government that's in the hole, but not Social Security.
I've seen these guys like Mitt Romney or Carl Icahn with TWA where I work. They come in and they take over the pension funds, and then suddenly there's no more pension fund. And one of the tools they use is to say, well, there is no pension fund. It's going broke, you know, so we'll change it. And people believe that.
Social Security also protects widows and orphans and disabled folks until such time as they can retire. So it's more than just a retirement program.
What we should be doing is just improving it. And one of the ways we can improve it and take away any problems that might be in the future is just to scrap the cap.
Politicians could raise the cap. That's the amount of money that you pay taxes on Social Security. Right now it's approximately $106,000 per year. And once you reach that level, you quit paying FICA taxes. But if it was raised and it's progressive, where that the wealthy people would pay in a fair share, and that would provide a safety net, and Social Security wouldn't be an issue.
Most of the people out here, they work construction or manufacturing or service jobs, something that is very hard on your body, and they can't work till they're age 70, and if they do, they'll probably die and never, you know, get anything from Social Security.
I'm from the airline industry. Whether you're a ramp serviceman, working on your knees, loading bags, mechanic, having to get down, crawl in the workspaces and all, you can't do it at that age.
That Social Security is paying me now in my retirement because I can't work any longer. So I don't think we should let the government take our money and play monopoly with it. We'll just come down to.
It's been there as long as I can remember. I've been working hard. I've been doing the things that I've been asked to do all my life. And when it comes time for me to enjoy those benefits that are there, I want them to be there for me also, and for my children.
In the county I grew up in, it was very rural, not many very good jobs, and people didn't have Medicare then. So the poorer people, if they didn't have family to take them in, they were sent to what was called the poor farm. And they went to the poor farm, which was a series of county houses that you went to die in. And I don't ever want to see that again. That's why Medicare is so important to people.
I lived before Medicare. I saw what happened to my grandparents. They did not have health care. They did not have insurance. They couldn't afford insurance. They were poor rural farmers. All four of my grandparents died unnecessarily.
With Medicare, they've made it so confusing, so difficult. Enrollment periods are different. They're just, I feel they're out. I think the Republicans are out to destroy it by making it so confusing. Everybody has a different plan.
I wish that the retirees would have the same kind of medical coverage that members of Congress have, and they don't.
My husband and I are retired factory workers. We're like most working retirees in this country. Without Medicare, we would be bankrupt.
Many people actually don't even have health insurance now until they get to be 65, when they've already not been able to take care of issues.
People that I personally know are finally getting tests that they desperately needed, but those tests are so expensive they couldn't afford them, and Medicare wasn't covering them. Now finally they're getting the tests that they need.
President Obama had the courage to make a difference on health care by supporting and getting the Affordable Health Care Act passed. Matter of fact, he's the only president that's took this to this stage.
What makes me really angry is the fact that every time we have a retirees meeting, people are still getting hit with lies. They think they're going to get hurt, senior citizens especially, and that's being promoted by the drug companies, by the insurance companies, because they have been feeding off of senior citizens for so long, and they don't want to give that up.
But they say you can choose your doctor if you don't go into it, but most doctors will not now take Medicare because they've made it so difficult with paperwork and everything like that. So the reality is that you can't choose your doctor, really. And so I think they really ought to do something about making it efficient, making it so that it works financially.
Yeah, I just saw Mitt Romney say, well, he turned 65 and he's not going to sign up for Medicare. Well, whoopee-doo. He doesn't need to. When you have $190 million that you're sitting on.
He can afford not to have Medicare, but he's going to get it anyway because he's paid into it. And if Medicare can't pay for something for him, then he's got the money that he can pay for it. We suffer. We don't have that kind of money. If we need specialty care, we don't have it.
You know, you're just sentencing yourself to suffer if you don't fight for Medicare.
I really saw the have and have not society, and I don't want to go back there. And if we don't want to go back there, we have got to get these kids educated. We have got to get the average worker registered and the whole family out to vote.
I retired at age 62, and between 62 and 65 there was a gap for insurance purposes. That collective bargaining agreement provided me a bridge insurance plan that I was able to use last year. I was in the hospital for 4 weeks, and it was over $185,000 for that medical condition. And without that bridge agreement, I could not have afforded that.
The better you work, the better you retire, especially under collective bargaining, where that you have a right to negotiate for improved pensions and benefits for our members so that when we retire, we have some dignity.
We in the labor movement, one of our greatest failures, frankly, was the fact that we didn't insist that real education about the labor movement be taught in every public school in this nation. Because too many young people are coming in and they say, well, the company is giving me all these benefits. I don't see any reason that I should join the union. The company isn't giving them anything. We have bargained for what they're getting.
We, as employees, are important to the value of that company. A lot of times we've built that company. It's not all ours, but we share it and we need our part of it. And that is collective bargaining.
Only about 9% of the population has a pension plan today, but under union and collective bargaining, the majority of us have a good pension plan and benefits.
It's not just the employee. Employees have wives, they have children, and with collective bargaining, the unions will bargain for pension plans, medical plans, etc.
Whatever the union negotiate, the companies end up giving to the rest of the people. So if the union is not there to break the ice, you will never move up. And the only way we got to where we are is because of union negotiation.
People like me have got to spend more time helping young people as a whole understand how collective bargaining can make a difference in their lives. If we don't do it, no one else is going to, I assure you, because they're getting hit every day with misinformation.
The retirees conferences, like here in Las Vegas, are great. It's a way of getting the retirees to pool together, pool their energies and their knowledge and resources. There's a lot of knowledge in this room, and if we could all walk away and take this knowledge back and be a mentor to a younger person, it'd be something very well worthwhile.
By attending the conference, we get new ideas. You charge your battery up so when we get back home, we can start calling the members of Congress, members of the legislature. I can still hop on an airplane, I can go to Washington, D.C., I can go to Sacramento and lobby our members of Congress for the betterment of the people that I used to work with.
seniors have to stay active because first of all, we have the time and we have the contacts. We know the people, we have younger people in our lives. We have to talk to them. We need to get them involved.
I would like the younger people to see what older people are doing. We have a lot to offer. We have a lot of knowledge, a lot of maturity.
We as retirees have an obligation, even though we're retired, to help strengthen our own organization.
We have seen already that the Republicans are trying to take away your Social Security, your Medicare, your Medicaid. We can't have this. And not only that, we got to make sure it's there for our kids and grandkids when they come along.
I can't make this any plainer that people need to support organized labor. They need to support workers that come together, and they need to support laws that actually strengthen workers' rights.
Working on your own in your local community is good, but we need to work as one on national issues. And that's why we're having this retiree conference, so that we're all in there, we can get our thoughts together, and we go back and we all going the same way. And that's where your strength come in, when you're all doing the same thing.
I really saw the have and have not society, and I don't want to go back there. And if we don't want to go back there, we have got to get these kids educated. We have got to get the average worker registered and the whole family out to vote.